All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna try a new format. We're gonna do the shooting first and then go to the studio. So I want at the end of today's video for you guys to leave me your comments below on how you like this change up, okay? I figured let's get out here, let's get familiar with this new suppressor, okay? We're gonna move it around from host to host. You guys are gonna be able to hear what it sounds like, and then we'll teleport back to the studio and we'll really get into the nitty gritty, the specifications, the mounts, the close-up tight B-roll shots that you guys all love. So you guys kind of already know what it sounds like and have some familiarity with it before seeing it up close in the studio. I just wanted to kind of experiment with this video and see how that goes. Without further ado, introducing the new Rugged Suppressors Alaskan 360. So Rugged reached out, sent the suppressor to me prior to launch in October, which is awesome. Really cool can, as you can see from the close-up shots. Very Alaskan designed, very cool. What is it? It's a multi-use suppressor. And when I mean multi-use, I mean, ta-da! They finally have the industry standard rear mount of 1.375 by 24. Yay! And attached to the back of it today, we have the RUM, the Rugged Universal Mount. So basically that is their adapter for their flash hiders for the industry standard rear of that suppressor. So you can use all the Rugged mounts that you already have invested in, or you could throw in your favorite company's rear section and use it on their rifle mounts. But today we're going to shoot it on a plethora of hosts. We're going to shoot it on a Beretta 9mm, an MP5, an AR-15, a lever gun from Henry, chambered in 5.56, really cool, a bolt gun in 300 blackout, and a bolt gun in 308. So we're going to run it through the gauntlet out here at the range. We're only going to use one camera view today because we have a lot of hosts to shoot and I really don't have all day to do it out here, and you guys have other things to do besides watch a 45-minute review. So let's go ahead and get to it. Magpul is the king of vaporware. I still am unable to buy the bottom metal kit for this Ruger 300 blackout, Ruger American 300 blackout. So continue having to single feed it. Mother of God. Hoping for some more airplanes. Maybe they could do a bombing run later. What do you think? That one's supersonic. Try that again. Some of these 200 grain remanufactured rounds are going supersonic. Yep. Wonder if the suppressor is adding velocity. Still quiet. There they are. There we go. There's a subsonic. Yes. You guys hear it hit that berm? The dirt? It's been raining for about 4 days straight here. Very muddy. The woods are full of water. You should be able to hear it echo when it impacts. Good. Steel. Well, you get the drift. It's quiet on 300 blackout. Next up is the Henry Lone Ranger, chambered in 223. Pretty sweet little rifle. We're gonna do a full review on this eventually. USO red dot on top, pretty slick, 5-round detachable mag. Let's give it a whirl here. Dry fire. Ooh, that steel's loud. Oh yeah. Get back to the studio with the Alaskan 360. Let's quickly cover the specifications, special features, and then of course I'll give you my feedback on what I experienced out there on the range. So I'll give you 2 different links and 2 different weights, okay? One without the rum on the back and then one with the rum. So overall length, the shortest possible option without any mount is 6.6 inches. And then with the rugged universal mount comes in at 7.5 inches. Diameter, of course, is going to stay the same at 1.6 inches. And the weight, again, without a mount is 9.4 ounces. And with the rum, it comes in at 11.8 ounces. Your materials, your suppressor body, I guess you could say, because it is a tubeless design. That is all 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel. And then the rum and the front cap is titanium. As far as the finish, nice high temperature black Cerakote, more of a satin look, not gloss, not flat black, kind of right there in the middle, what you come to expect from Rugged. Now, as far as the elephant in the room, .360. Of course, they're referencing the bore aperture size, so 0.36 inches across, meaning you can shoot 9mm and everything down like we did on the range. Now you're probably wondering what it's rated for rifle use. This little guy is rated for .338 Lapua Magnum. So a 7-inch suppressor is rated for .338 Lapua Magnum. Pretty awesome. I don't have one, so I couldn't test it today, but I imagine based on the numbers you're about to hear, it sounds pretty good, because it did sound good on .308, as you just heard. As far as firing schedule, of course, it's rated full auto, as you saw with the MP5, and of course, I'm sure 5.56 is fine. Just, try to be mindful when you guys hear the word full auto rated, and just go out there and go ham with mag dumps back to back. The suppressor might handle it, but from what I've seen, no finish out there is going to handle heat cycles like that. So I would just shoot a couple mags, let it cool down, so on and so forth. So you have a universal suppressor rated for pistols and subguns at 9mm, and of course rifles up to .338 Lapua Magnum. Pretty sweet. Now, as far as some metering numbers, Rugged Suppressors tested these at the ear at the factory, and this is what they got. 308, 130.8 decibels, again, at the shooter's ear. 5.56, 130.4 decibels, again, at the shooter's ear. 300 blackout subsonic, 130.1 decibels. 9mm did not specify the pistol, but that was a pistol rating at 133.8. 6.5 Creedmoor, 140.9. 300 Rum, 139.4. And probably the most surprising and last number, .338 Lapua Magnum at 136.1. So .338 Lapua sounded better than 6.5 Creedmoor at the ear for their factory testing, which I thought was pretty cool. All that comes in at a retail price of $1,099, so you'll be able to get it a little cheaper out there at your favorite distributor websites, Gun Trader Den over there in St. Pete. Now, as far as standout features, we'll start from the tone, where you guys just heard on the range. Rugged told me they did a lot of R&D to try and get the most pleasing tone out of all the individual calibers and host options that are out there. So they're bringing to market the best universal use suppressor that they possibly can. As you probably heard, it sounded freaking amazing on the MP5, which is not that hard of a feat in itself. The MP5 platform with the delayed roller blowback keeps the gas trapped just long enough to ensure that most all the gas goes back out of the suppressor through the bore instead of back in your face out of the ejection port. So MP5 sounded great. Tone sounded really good. Once we got to the subsonic 300 blackout, we kept having some of the rounds go supersonic, which was weird. Just a random lot of ammo. Some of them were loaded a little hotter, I guess. They are reloads. But once we got to some subsonic loadings, it sounded really good. 308 surprised me a lot. Again, given the size of the suppressor, it's very compact. On that bolt gun, it sounded amazing. I could get behind that thing all day and shoot it. And then on the 5.56, between the Henry lever gun and the Knight's Armament, that was really cool. I think this Henry gun that I have over here in the safe, that is going to change the game as far as my reviews go, because it really helped narrow down the tone field, meaning the ejection port pop on the AR-15 platform, being a direct impingement driven gun, and the action cycling noise usually overshadows a lot of what we're hearing, and then you just hear the supersonic crack of the bullet breaking the sound barrier. When we shot the Henry and that breech stayed shut, it trapped all the gas and forced it through the suppressor. It was cool because we were able to actually hear what the real tone of a 5.56 without a noisy action sounds like. And I thought that was really interesting when I was watching it during post-editing. So definitely going to be using that Henry Long Ranger more and more when it comes to rifle reviews. As far as the 9mm handgun on the Beretta, again, I kind of screwed the pooch on this one. I think what was happening is I was getting a lot of back pressure in the face. I don't know if you could tell I was shooting. I wasn't getting any unburnt gunpowder. like you did with the old Silencer Co. Octane series, that one you would get just peppered with unburnt gunpowder. I wasn't getting unburnt gunpowder, I was getting a lot of pressure, and that might be attributed to the open breech design on the Beretta platform. That was the only threaded barrel 9mm handgun that I brought. I should have brought a Glock setup so I can kind of test my theory out to see if the more closed action on a Glock would exhibit less pressure to the shooter's face. But did not, so sorry about that. But I did notice a little pressure. Make sure, as you should be, always wear eye protection when shooting suppressed, even more so suppressed than shooting unsuppressed, because the chances of getting something blown back in your eyes is a lot higher when dealing with back pressure. Still sounded good on the Beretta, sounded great. Did have a little first round pop I noticed, but shots 2 through the rest of the mag sounded great. I think it just has to do with the baffle design being tuned to deal with the 9mm pressures up to 338 Lapua. So that covers the tone. Now, as far as adapting it for your use, over here off to my right, I have some examples of what we used out there on the range today. This part probably be available on their website soon. This does not ship with the suppressor. I don't know what they're going to call it. This is a pre-production sample, but this is basically the basket, I would call it, a housing. All right, so this goes into the rear of the suppressor to adapt it to a smaller diameter to be able to use their 3-lug mount and their piston setup, okay, that we used on the Beretta. So we use this on the Beretta and the 3-lug on the MP5, and you use that inside this basket. Right now, the suppressor is set up with their RUM installed. Now, when you get this thing out of the box, it's a little confusing because it comes with these multi-use tools in 17.4 stainless steel. The smaller one is called their dual taper adapter tool, and the larger one is the rugged multi-tool. Now, when I opened it, I'll admit, I opened it out of their tube, and I was like, what is going on here with all these little tools? And once you read the manual, ding, 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 you figure out exactly what they did there. They came up with a clever way to allow the end user to properly torque spec on their mounts at the rear using just simple hand tools, sockets, and wrenches. So I'll go ahead and show you how it works. Use the multi-tool here. You can remove the end cap with that. All right, we'll just get it loose here. We'll remove the titanium end cap, and then on the inside of the suppressor body, it's not loose enough yet because it is dirty. On the inside of the front of the suppressor, you'll see some machining here that corresponds with another section on this tool. So you inset the tool in the front like so. Now, it would normally just fall out if you're using it to wrench. It also ships with this plastic multi-tool retainer ring. Throw that on the front, and this is basically just a modified end cap in plastic that you just finger tight on there just to keep this tool in place. I don't know what's going on here. Did I cross-thread it? There it goes. So again, it doesn't need to be tight, just holds that in there. Now you use their taper tool. Okay, so this is basically a tool version of a flash hider mount. Insert that into the rear, and then you can lock the ring. You don't need to wrench it on, just throw it on a little bit. Now, maybe you should wrench it on. All right, we'll put that in there, and then we'll lock it. All right, now it's in there. So now you can use a 3/16 socket and a 3/4 inch socket to correspond with the rear here. And now you can put all the torque you want on the suppressor without hurting the suppressor tube with your serialized information on there. No bench vices, no strap wrenches, none of that crap. Just loosen it like so. Check that out. And of course, you could put, one of the flats of this section in a vise if you wanted to hold it to do what you needed to do. But if you're going to be at the range, chances are you're not going to have a vise set up like I have for my truck hitch because I review cans all the time. And then just these 2 wrenches or some open-end wrenches would suffice. See? Now the RUM is out. Now I can throw on the basket, or whatever they were going to call it, housing, into the rear. Now you're probably thinking, well, crap, now I got this in here, I don't have another one. Boom, got another multi-tool here. They said it's gonna ship with this product. So just throw that in the front and then throw that back on. It's the wrong wrench size, but it'll work. Now in the manual, I believe it said torque to 25 foot-pounds. So you're gonna wanna add a torque wrench setup to your range bag to do this properly, because you don't want this to back off while you're shooting. But just for the sake of filming in the studio, we're just gonna snug it on there just past hand tight. So that's what it looks like with the housing installed. Now you can install either the piston setup, see, screw that down, or that's for your handguns. So for this, you could do a 1/2x28 or a 13.5 by 1 left hand for your HK and Sig Sauer host for shooting 9mm handguns. And then over here, we have their 3-lug setup. So we'll just, for the sake of the video, we'll throw in the 3-lug setup, and then you can just put that on hand tight. Over here I have a suppressortools.com part. This is like their 3-lug setup for rugged. It's pretty nice actually. This male section just fits in the back, and then you can tighten it on. And that is what we use on the MP5. Then you would just loosen your adapter retaining ring here. Take the adapter out, throw your front cap back on, and you're good to go. So it seems more complicated when you first pull this sucker out of the box, because you're like looking at all these freaking heat-treated stainless steel parts, and you're like, what is going on here? But when you kind of just sit down and look at what they did, it's pretty ingenious. And then just get that tight, of course, to the proper specs per the manual, and you're good to go. Your front cap's back on. It is large enough for a 9mm projectile. You have your 3-lug, and now we can throw it on the MP5 like we did on the range. So pretty cool. If you look at the very, very back of both mounts on the rum and the basket here, you have a little tiny wrench flat, and I asked him what that was about, and he said basically if it got stuck in the can somehow and you need to hold it from rotating, you could take bench vise, the end of a bench vise, and just pinch it there and use it to remove it as well. So kind of like a little backup feature. So I think that pretty much covers it, guys. Pretty sweet little setup here. I dig the engraving. It's very Alaskan, very cool engraving here. They probably referenced a lot of, you know, blankets and quilts and stuff in Alaska, and design work and wood engraving, and they have the little bear paw there. Thought it was pretty cool. And you know, it's exactly what this is going to be used for. A small, lightweight suppressor, perfect for woods walking, for hunting, for adapting it to a multitude of hosts in the Alaskan bush. So pretty cool. Very happy that they decided to send this out prior to launch, and then yeah, it did very well. Again, only cons I would say would be a little bit of back pressure on the Beretta when we were shooting it. Again, that could be attributed to the open breech. We'll have to try it at Suppress Fest and see how it does on some Glocks and some Sig Sauer host. I just couldn't find a 13x5 piston anywhere because I'm in the middle of moving. Actually, sad face. This is going to be one of the last videos. I might be able to squeeze some more in here in the studio in this house, because we are moving to another house next week. So pretty crazy. Life is nuts. Not only am I filming multiple videos in 1 week, but I have Suppress Fest planning to do still, and I'm moving homes. Psycho! I know, I'm crazy. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Really cool suppressor, sounded great, and it can adapt to pretty much everything under 338 Lapua. If you have any questions about it, just leave it below. Rugged's usually pretty good about going through my videos at the end and kind of like reading comments and answering questions you might have. So if you want to leave them a question, just leave it below, and I'm sure they'll see it and respond to you. As far as Suppress Fest, it is completely sold out now for day 1 and day 2, Saturday, November 12th, and Sunday, November 13th. It is completely sold out. Rugged Suppressors will be there, and they will have the new Alaskan 360 there, which is pretty cool. So anybody coming to that event's probably going to hear it before anybody else in the world, because this is coming out October 4th. So it's only a month later. So yeah, anybody coming to the event is going to hear this sucker before anybody else, which is really cool. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. We have a lot more coming. We have some reviews coming up from JK Armament right before my event, and then I'll have some more time to film finally after the event, and then we'll have SHOT Show, and then we'll start this whole process over again next year. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. As usual, I put a lot of time in these. Took about 3 days to film this one, in between going to the range, coming here, and editing. Again, if you have any questions about this suppressor in particular, leave a question below, and either myself or Rugged will answer it the best that we can. And I'll see you next video.